Welcome to this presentation on the history of the construction industry. During this presentation, think about the impact that your chosen profession of the construction industry has on society and our lives. Think about what makes the difference between a first and third world country, and think about how this relates to infrastructure. To answer these questions, it is helpful to look at the history of the construction industry. The history of the construction industry is fascinating, and studying history can help us to learn from our mistakes and understand the present and the future. Construction. So why, when, how and where did it all start? What is the beginning of the construction industry? This building is 380,000 years old. It was made with the materials that were available in the local area. Can you imagine the creativity, ingenuity and tenacity that early constructors must have possessed in order to achieve such extraordinary building achievements, especially without modern tools like steel axes and mallets? In the Stone Age, as construction skills and tool development increased, simple shelters seen in the previous slide grew into planned settlements, villages and cities. This period saw the start of public buildings for special events, religious ceremonies, manufacturing and commerce. And so we can see that because of these buildings, that construction is at the heart of civilization. Let's take a look at Egypt and the pyramids. There is still ongoing speculation and research into how they were built with such large rocks. A team of Dutch engineers has speculated that the blocks were moved on sleds on wet sand to stop the sand piling up in front of the sled. And in this era, there was no distinction between architecture, engineering or construction. There was just the master builder. It was also when the first known building code was created. Have you heard of this before? The Code of Hammurabi was a set of rules by the king of Babylonia. If a builder builds a house for a man, and the house which he has built collapses, causes the death of the owner, the builder shall be put to death. If it causes the death of the son of the owner of the house, they should put to death the son of that builder. If it causes the death of a slave of the owner of the house, he shall give to the owner of the house a slave of equal value. Imagine the quality of today's structures if this code still existed. And this is how this code looks. You can see a good example of the code at the Louvre Museum in Paris. Egyptians used a large number of unskilled workers. Then the Greeks started to organise and utilise small groups of skilled stonemasons where they specialised in stonework, much like a domestic plumber today specialises in household gas and water pipes. And this was the beginning of the building trades concept and was a turning point in the history of construction. The Roman Empire was one of the most influential periods of time for many areas of civilization, and the construction industry was no exception. For example, an early form of concrete was found during this time. Also, domes and arches, the incorporation of glass for decoration, and road construction are all beginning within the Roman Empire. There are Roman roads and aqueducts that still stand to this day. The first design and construction handbook, attributed to Marcus Vitruvius Pollio, also came into being, where he documented and described construction methods. With the downfall of the Roman Empire came a decline in building activity. Around 900 AD, the Roman Catholic Church revitalised stone construction. They commenced a system of craft training and education, and three distinct stages of ability were recognised. Apprentice, which many people doing this construction management course may have been at some stage, or still are, journeyman and master. These terms are still widely recognised today. In the Renaissance, from the 12th to 17th century, this brought a renewed interest in architecture, building and science. The concept of master builder began to be questioned as the most efficient way to build. The idea that someone could create drawings and models without actually being involved in the construction process emerged, bringing about a separation of design and construction as distinct functions. There is a push today to return to the master builder concept, but with the recognition that the modern master builder is a collaborative team. In the Industrial Revolution, from 1760 to 1840, this brought a lot of benefits. Once construction was separated from design building science, we just got to... The age of the skyscraper in the 19th century arrived, as steel framing allowed the construction of high-rise buildings. Portland cement and reinforced concrete were invented. Glass was now mass-produced and used to clad many of these buildings. The first passenger elevator was invented to allow people to live in multi-storey buildings, and these buildings gained acceptance because of innovations like these. Imagine a multi-storey building without an elevator and climbing 10 sets of stairs every day. There were also advancements in heating and cooling. With the development of larger-sized contractors, the globalisation of the construction industry started, and the construction industry developed into a major economic sector. The 20th century brought an enormous demand for housing, industry and infrastructure, with population increases. Time, cost and quality became critical. Mechanised tools, panelised construction and prefabrication helped speed up the process. Regulation and standardisation of building materials and methods helped maintain quality and safety. The 20th century also brought more complexity through new issues such as the environment, energy conservation, sustainability, safety and workforce diversity. With the 20th century also came the recognition of the correlation between sound management techniques and successful building practices. As projects increased in complexity, specialised construction management skills were required to manage projects. In 1935, universities started developing programs which eventually evolved into what is now recognised as construction management programs, an example of which is here today at UniSA. Moving forward to the current day, construction managers can have the model of a building in an iPad to conduct their inspections. And they can have an augmented reality, and they can see if there are any potential clashes with services to be installed, such as checking clashes between, for example, a heating system and water pipes, and that's all while they're in the building. Building information modelling applications such as Revit allow the standard 3 dimensions and a fourth being time to virtually view the sequence of construction. As an exercise to look at the history of the construction in Australia, view the video of the construction of the Sydney Harbour Bridge available from the UniSA library. You can also go to the PDF notes of these slides and click on the link. And that completes our look at the history of the construction industry.